Hi Neil, great to see you again yesterday up at the driving range and do some further work on your technique. Just a quick recap on the session that we had. First thing I'd like to see you do is get a set-up position where both feet are a little bit more turned out, and then get the feeling that the knees are going to be out over the feet as opposed to knocked in. That's going to make it much easier for you to get the hips to turn during the backswing, and in turn generate a little bit more power as well as arriving in some better positions. We take a little look at you from down the line. One of the problems we have is that because of the old way of swinging, the club tends to roll very much behind us in the early part of the backswing. So we get the club head long way in behind the hands, and as a result we've got this pre-established bowed left wrist. From there we take it to the top, much better move than previously. You can see now the arms are staying on the rib cage much better. We tend to get a little bit longer than this with your longer clubs, but all in all at that point we're in a nice position. We're just a little bit too bowed here with the left wrist. Because we've rolled that club inside on the way back, it tends to stay in a little bit too much coming into the golf ball, so the club head now still a little bit behind your hands, shoulders a little bit too shut at that point in an attempt to try and keep some loft on the club face, prevent the ball going quickly left. We tend to stay inside and underneath, and as a result we hit out at the golf ball. Whenever we get stuck underneath it, the upper centre tends to translate back, and as well as getting stuck underneath and hitting out, we can run the risk of catching the ground a little bit behind the ball. So what we'd like to see is that takeaway initially, just a little bit more club out, arms in. What we've got here is we've got a basket in a direct line with your ball and your target, and the idea here, the feeling we're trying to get here, is that your arms work in and the club stays on the target line. You can see at that point now the club a little bit more out in front of your hands. Because the arms are in and the club's out, we've got a slight cupping in the left wrist, which is going to get us into a position at the top where we're slightly less shut, slightly less bowed, as we can see here, a little bit more of a flat left wrist, which is good. The only problem on this swing is it's a longer club, we're thinking about something else, so there's just a little lift as we get to the top. Just a touch of a lift there, which would have the pens, if you will, dropping out from beneath your arms based on your previous lesson. Because the arms are in a better position going back and a much more neutral position coming through, we're a little bit more on top of it, a little bit less stuck underneath, and what we've got to do now is learn to turn the corner better at the bottom and get the arms working a little bit more to the left, so you'd be looking for a lower exit. And a good exercise for that is to just spend a little bit of time trying to hit a cut from a pretty neutral setup. But between now and then, if you can work on the foot position at setup, the effect that that has on the knees, and then work on that takeaway, I'm sure you're going to see your golf progressing nicely. It'd be great to see you again in a week or so's time, ideally, just to do some further work on things before certain moves get out of hand and allow us to police things a little bit more in the through swing. Good luck with it, and look forward to working with you again soon.